talk about chapters 44 to 56, or you could just think of this as the end of the book. In Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein. This is one of my all-time favorite books. So I hope that you enjoyed this amazing book, okay? So we are left in a very tense spot, right? Andrew just got in to community meeting room B. Okay, let's start chapter 44. How would you describe Kyle's feeling if you had been Kyle? How would you have felt at that moment when you were like, Andrew is going into community room B, right? What do you think about Andrew though? Why do you think that Andrew teamed up with Charles in the first place? Because I'm pretty sure that Andrew knew that Charles was a big jerk. Why do you think Andrew went together with Charles? And also, I wanted to ask you about Andrew, okay? It was this: thou shalt not steal, right? Thou shalt not steal. I think that was it. Sorry if I did not get that quote right, but it was something about like, yes, thou shalt not steal, okay? And do you think that now that you think about this, okay? Thou shalt not steal. Do you think that this quote was put in for some other reason, or do you think it was because Mr. Lemoncello knew that this was going to happen, or do you think it meant something else? Okay, Mr. Lemoncello also, I wanted to ask you about this. Mr. Lemoncello probably knew that Charles was a bad egg, okay? But why do you think that Mr. Lemoncello didn't kick Charles out? I think it was just because to keep up the fun of the game, right? The competition. If there was no competition, that would be pretty boring, right? In a way. And also, I also wanted to ask you about something else, and what I wanted to ask you about was Haley. Haley joins Kyle's team. When you read that, how did you feel about that? Did you feel surprised, or did you feel a little? What did you feel about this? Yeah, I actually felt really surprised. In chapter 45. Do you think that it's unfair that Haley went to Kyle's team, because now Haley can tell everything that Charles was talking about, right? So, do you think that was fair? And also, do you think that Charles has a chance of winning now? Okay? And also, I wanted to ask you about Charles, okay? And if you had been Charles, how would you have reacted to everything that's happened so far, okay? I would be really upset. Of course, I'm not really sympathizing with Charles. I'm just saying I'd be really upset. Okay, chapter 46. Do you think that Chiltons never lose, or do you think that was just, and that's not true at all? And also, I wanted to ask you about something else. It was number 12, right? Like, there was a picture, a silhouette, cards with like 3 couples dining. What do you think that would be? And what do you think about how Charles was putting everything together? Do you think that this is going to work? Because this is, his puzzle is going to work or not, because this is really confusing, right? I was left scratching my head. It was really confusing. So I'm not very sure, right? Okay. Anyway, who do you think who do you think is the top library expert in all of America, maybe the world, more better than Dr. Yanina Zinchenko? What came up to mind when you thought that? Okay, chapter 47. Okay, so we're going back to Kyle's team, right? If you have been Haley and you saw the mess that Kyle's team was in, how would you have felt? And also, then Mr. Lemoncello says, anyone up for an extreme challenge? What did your brain think immediately when you heard that word? If you had been Kyle's team, would you have done the extreme challenge? What did you think that the extreme challenge was going to be? I actually thought that this was going to be like really, really hard. Like it was going to be, like this, you had to name 35 authors who wrote the book, similar books. I would faint after that. Okay, what did you think about what Miss Dr. Zinchenko, right? What her clues. What do you think about this? And also, now they will go to get Mr. Lemon, but before we go with Kyle and his team to the stacks, right? We've already read this, so we know. We're going to go back to Charles Chiltington, who never loses, as he says. But since we've read to the end, we know that he lost big time. Actually, he just got kicked out, right? But let's talk about that later. Okay, so your Uncle Jimmy, right, is the head librarian of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. Were you surprised about that? And did you think, oh man, Kyle's dead meat? Or were you like, awesome, now more competition, but Kyle's still going to win? I thought that Kyle was still going to win. Okay, chapter 50. Okay, so they're running there, right? But then the bookcases were moving. Wow! Scary. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Do you think that this game, that's getting a little violent? I don't think so. But anyway, I wanted to ask you about tension. What do you think about tension? Do you think that tension is scary, or do you think that just makes a book much more exciting? And also, I wanted to ask you about something else, and what I wanted to ask you about was, because the thing was, they had a lot of tension, right? Kyle ran, right? And he got there, like a second to spare, maybe not even a second to spare, Just at that moment, right? Do you think that how Kyle was, do you think that this was luck? Or do you think that this was because of something else? I think that it was because of teamwork. Teamwork really helps, and it's just really important. And I have teamwork. One time, I was with my friend, okay? We were doing this really hard. We were planning a Thanksgiving dinner, okay? But the problem was we had this, but we were doing it on the computer, right? Okay, so I'm not kidding. We were planning a real Thanksgiving dinner. We were doing the costs and how much this would cost and how long it would take. Okay, but my friend, he helped me because we were doing a computer chart for how much we need to get of this food, what kind of food it was, how much it cost per pound or half of, like that, or per can, and then we put what is it in total. And it was really hard, but my friend helped me in math problems, and he also helped me add, did some technical things that I could never do. So because of our teamwork, we finished really quickly, and our Thanksgiving dinner was awesome. Okay, but anyway, so teamwork is really helpful. Could you think of any examples that you've done with teamwork? I'm pretty sure that you will think of something. Okay, chapter 51. I wanted to ask you about Mr. Lemoncello and how he sprinkles books into his dialogue, right? Do you, characters and stuff like that, do you like it or do you think it's annoying? I like it because first of all, it's really fun when I read a book, I'm like, I read the books, what Mr. Lemoncello was referred to. I was like, I read that book. I read 99% of all the books he's mentioned. I gotta read Al Capone Does My Shirts. Okay, but anyway, still, I read most of the books. Okay, and then the Dewey Decimal Doors are going to open, right? Do you think that because the Dewey Decimal Doors are going to open, do you think that this will help Kyle win the game, or do you think that Kyle's already won the game anyway? Okay, so I wanted to ask you about the clues, right? The clues that they've all gotten, right? And now they've got it, right? It was this. In 1968, the way out was the way in. Awesome! Andy, right? The Dandy Bandits, they made a mistake, but still, they are going to win. Woo! Right? Okay, 53. So they find a dandy, right? The Dandy Bandits, right? So now it would be and then Leopold Lovelock was one of the notorious Dandy Bandits, right? Wow, awesome! The Dandy Bandits, woohoo! And Lovelock was one of the pine trees, right? So we got it. How did you feel at that moment when you knew that they were gonna win and that Charles was going to be left in the dust? Right? Awesome. And they have to find one last book. Okay, but anyway, Charles was talking to Miss James Willoughby III, the Librarian of Congress, okay? And so Charles was, when he heard the answer, he just raced up, right? Do you think that was polite or rude? And if you had been Charles's uncle, how would you have reacted to this? But anyway, then Charles and Kyle, they sort of Charles is sort of was really mean to Kyle, right? And he's like, loser. And also, that's why I wanted to ask you about Charles. What do you think about his attitude and sportsmanship? Have you ever done this kind of thing? And also, Kyle at first, he takes the game a little too seriously, right? And he sort of rubs it in when he wins. Do you like that kind of partner? No, right? But Kyle, but I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna skip to the end of the book, right? Okay, and then there's of course we're going to go back, but still, just want to go to the end of the book first, and it was this. But now Kyle works as a team, and it just works, right? His team works, right? And he shares the prize with everybody. And how often that Kyle changed? And do you like this or do you not like this about Kyle changing? Do you think that how Kyle changed, are you also like Kyle in the beginning of the story or the end of the story? Do you think that you need to change or not? Okay. Anyway, Charles is kicked out. What did you feel about that? And how did you react to that? And if you had been Kyle, how would you have felt about this? Okay, so we are going, so now they are going to go to the exit. Awesome, right? Now we are going, they have to give 16 words made out of 16 letters, right? What did, were you, when you did that, were you terrified or were you excited? And could you think of 16 letters without the list that they made up? Could you think of 16 letters? I'm not 60 words. Sorry. I could think of some things, okay? First of all, I could think of lemon. Of course, I could think of that. And then another one, I guess, could be cello. Anyway, it's a little too hard for me. I'm not very good at these kinds of things. So, cello, right? Actually, cello, not cello. Sorry. I'm getting mixed up today. That's only because my cousin does the cello. So, yeah, I got mixed up. And, okay. What did you think about what Haley said? Colonel, right? Were you surprised about the really hard word? And do you think that knowing words, do you think that's do you think that is very important? But I also wanted to ask you this. Do you think that numbers are more important, or do you think that words are more important, or do you think that both are really important? Okay, now 56, they break out, right? In the process, how are you reacting? I was like cheering, I was like, woo, right? And by the end, I was just dancing and singing, and I'm pretty sure that they felt like that too, right? And so everyone was cheering, right? How do you think that they felt about this? Okay, remember it just means, similes, metaphors, adjectives, etc., okay? You can also do hyperboles if you want, or personification, anything, okay? And also, what do you think about the last sentence in this book? There might be balloons. Okay, guys, we finished the book. But before we say bye, I wanted to ask you a question. It is, do you think that games are more important, or do you think that books are more important? This is a fair argument, and you could do this into a debate, or you could do this into just a question you can answer. Okay, so for game lovers, I totally understand why I like games, but truthfully, I like books more. Well, first of all, you don't have the stress, right? Games, try to get to the next level. Books, there's no stress. The stories take you to new and amazing places. You have different feelings in books. You learn more things. And finally, books are just plain fun. You could say the same for games, but I think that books is just more fun. But that's only my opinion, okay, guys? But you should always respect other people's opinions, but other people should also respect your opinions, okay? So if another person does not respect your opinions, then just don't, ignore that. You have to speak up, okay? Because that's really important in life. If let's say that you were in, I don't know, some business, okay? You were debating. Okay, I'm just gonna say some random words. What about you were debating for taxes or whatever, okay? And if someone does not appreciate your opinion, they keep on talking about their opinion, they only appreciate their opinion, don't let it slide, because that's gonna just go into really hard consequences. Taxes might get raised sky high. Yeah. just that's an example. There's less extreme examples, but still, okay, you get what I mean, right? So you have to make it fair. A good debater needs to respect another person's opinion. Let's say that you debated, but you do not respect another person's opinion. You're like, hey, I'm still a debater. No, you're just qualified as a cheat. So just don't debate without respecting other people's opinions. Okay, but anyway, we finished this amazing book. I'm really sad, but at the same time, I'm really proud that I was the one who guided you through this amazing book. I wanted to ask you a few last questions. It was this: if you had been Kyle, would you have wanted to go on? Would you have wanted to be Kyle on this game, or do you think that it was too much stress and too scary? I think that I would have been want to be Kyle. What do you think about and the thing is, this library is so amazing. You would just spend all day here, right? It would be like just so good and amazing, right? And I have a feeling that Sierra is going to be in the library for every day, right? So and what I wanted to ask you about that was this: Sierra, she really likes libraries. Do you have any favorite place that you like to go to? I really like gardening, so I really like to go outside to do gardening. But I also like, let's see. But I also like going to the park. And one of my favorite places to go actually is the library. So I have something in common with Sierra. Cool. Okay, now we're finished with the book, okay? Woo-hoo. But now there is a series, so I hope that you also enjoy that series. I might do some book clubs about that. You gotta check it out, okay? So I just wanted to ask you a few last questions. They were, first of all, what was your favorite character in these chapters? Not your favorite character in the whole book. Then your least favorite character? Mine's Charles Chiltington. And also, I wanted to ask you about your favorite part in the chapters we just talked about, and then the whole book. And we finished the book, so you got a lot to choose from, right? My personal favorite part in these chapters actually was when they won. That was my personal favorite part. And in the whole book, I liked when they were just in the midst of their game. It was just really exciting and complicated, and it was just really fun to read. So I really like that too, okay? And finally, I wanted to ask you, how did you like this book? I loved it. It's one of my all-time favorite books. It's like in my top 10 reading list. This is my third time reading the book. Yes. The third time, maybe fourth. So I read this book a lot of times, but always I read it again and again and again. I've got so much from the book, and I keep on getting more and more from the book because rereading really helps you get more and more from the book. Okay, guys. So hope that you had a great time with me. Okay, and keep on reading, because reading is just amazing, okay? So I hope that you keep on reading, and I also hope that you have a great time.